All right, Light Warriors, we've been going through a massive shift, and it's a very powerful time. So we need to converse with very powerful people. So once again, we have Kerry K, the double K, and we're all going to be discussing the symptoms that we've had, the ascension symptoms that we've gone through, and kind of why we went through this massive shift during the eclipse season, and how it's going to shift us into the very powerful energies of the summer. So, Kerry, it's good to see you once again.
Thanks so much, Michael. It's great to be with you. This is two friends having a chat. I can't even feel for a moment like we're doing a podcast or an interview. This is just my heart to heart with my friend.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really more and more as the frequencies are rising. When you connect with like-minded souls, I think that's a overlying
Mm.
theme right now, that people are looking for that connection, and it's really a massive energy shift. That's something that I have discussed on my channel, really going through the energies of the eclipse season and how we're coming out of it. So to start us off, would you like to give us your take on the ascension symptoms that maybe you experienced or people from your community?
Oof. How many hours have we got? No, I'm joking. I'm joking. The reason I say that is purely because it feels like we've gone through this huge window, and it feels as if 10 years have passed in the last 10 days, kind of a feeling. And so it feels so much has happened. But what I'd like to share is a little bit of perspective. What we've just gone through is a quantum jump. That's all that this is. And we've done them in the past, but they've been smaller. This one is so big that it's got our focus and it's taking up so much of our mental space because we're trying to make sense of this massive quantum jump that we've just been through. But the truth is, we're going to keep taking these quantum jumps, and they're going to come in faster and faster. They'll become bigger and bigger. We're only just getting acclimated to this. We're okay. We've got this. It feels a little bit crazy while we're going through it, but we're pretty much through. You know where we are right now? We're through the crazy, and now we're in the integration. And integration is a very interesting phase because this is where you doubt yourself. This is where you say, what did that really happen? Why am I making a big deal about this? Why the questions come? Why do I feel this way now? So if you find yourself getting very stuck in your head, they know that that's the wrong place to go. The easy route is get out of the chatterbox, get out of the analysis, because part of where I'm seeing people derailing right now is there. That's an undermining, that's a self-doubting. Come back into the validation of this is what I feel, not this is what I think. This is what I feel in the moment. And if you need to, you could close your eyes and you could actually just check in, tune into your breath, sink into your body, and get a real time connection to what you are experiencing as an energetic being. The big quantum shift that we've been through has been to realign us as humanity to the fact that we are energetic beings. We've been walking around as if we are these thinking, analytical brains with two arms and two legs. So much so that our entire persona, our entire personality has revolved around the regurgitation of the brain. The big shift that we've been through has been almost knocking us, which is why a lot of people feel like they've been knocked about, knocking us out of the mental realm into the feeling, or we could say the emotional, or we could say the energetic realm, which is more the truth of who we are. We are energetic beings. The shift that we've gone through has been to bring us into alignment with who we really are, and out of the programming that says you are your thoughts, you are what you think, what you analyze. That was never the truth. And the crazy thing is, we knew that was never the truth, but we walked around as if it was. So everything that I'm seeing right now is humanity adjusting to who they are now as energetic beings. So now they're getting to experience their lives instead of analyze their lives. And you know what? When you analyze, you're actually outside yourself. When you analyze something, you are not in it, You are outside of it. Now, when you become the experiencer of your world, you actually step into your world. You step into your reality. You step into embodiment because now you're inside your reality and seeing it from the inside instead of seeing it from the outside. So it's kind of the difference of seeing it from the spectator's viewpoint versus the participant. You're now the active participant in your life. So if you feel dizzy and if you feel a lot of head symptoms, from lightheadedness to overthinking to confusion, why am I not overthinking? Anything that's very mental processing, that is what you're leaving behind. And you'll notice more and more that you're feeling things deeper and deeper, which is exactly correct. That's what we're supposed to do. So if you find yourself feeling things that you've never felt before and feeling like you've never felt before, then you're on track. And it's no man's land. That's what this is. This is no man's land in the sense that you're the first ones here. You guys listening to this, you are the first participants occupying a new realm and a new energetic space. So you're the ones, the pioneers, we could say, you're the ones that are entering into a new energetic era on the planet. This is what it is to be a pioneer of consciousness, a pioneer of ascension. You're going to walk into many, many no man's lands, meaning it's an empty space until you get there. You walk into this new realm, you populate this new realm, and you go, where am I? Why doesn't anything make sense here? Why does it all look so different here? That's exactly what you've come to do. So we're kind of doing this together, but we're going to feel a little bit like we've got a blindfold on, a little bit like we don't know what we're supposed to be doing. And you know what the worst part is? The worst part about all of this is we want to look for familiarity, Michael. So we keep looking behind us, right? Going like, let me look for a reference point. Let me look for how it was in the past. And of course, that's not going to make sense to who you are now. So try, you guys, try to resist that temptation to look into the past to get a frame of reference and really be in the unknown. You know, grab a friend's hand. Here we are together in the unknown. And if you don't have a friend and you don't have a hand to grab, there's my hand. There's Michael. His hand's always open. You know, we're all doing this together. We're all walking each other into a very big new state of being, a new way of being. You know, we always talk about new earth, right, Michael? We talk about like, oh, new earth, oh, ascension, forgetting that there's many times that we step into new realities. And this is one of them.
Transparency. That's where we're headed towards. And I just, especially doing this together with you, we're showing how I talk about energy themes, and like people can be a physical embodiment of a theme. And even though you and I are different, we look different, but we're literally the same. And we express ourselves differently, but it literally is the same. As we discussed, we could talk for
Yeah.
hours. So we really do embody the vibration of authenticity. And so the things that you just talked about, one of the things that you discussed, which I say, uh, people lie, but the energy doesn't lie.
Mhm.
And that's something we have to stay focused on. You discussed something else as well, kind of like being the observer, taking yourself out of it. And I did a video, and I always talk about it when I climbed a mountain and I was looking down on the beach. Get a higher vantage point. You have to go up to the fifth dimension, like, and kind of look down on the 3D. Take yourself out of it. So it really is the same energy theme. And a little bit later in the conversation, you kind of segued maybe a confusing energy or chaos energy that's kind of coming up, that's being cleared, and we're kind of going through this shift. So, you have experienced it. I have experienced it. People that I come across and people within our communities. There was a massive shift from last year to this year. And it's almost like we were pulled back on the bow so that we can be like launched. So going into the summer, I say the summer is going to be real hot. What is your take? Why did we go through all of the shifts from this eclipse shift? You know, we did a lot of purging, so it's not easy. A lot of pain comes up. You know, I went through it. We all, you know, and allow it. You know, it looks like, you know, you move the couch, all the dirt. You have to do the spring cleaning this time, and it looks like it got really messy and terrible. But that stuff was there, and it needed to be taken out. So, what is your take of why we went through what we went through, and how does that segue us into the summer?
Every time you say the summer, like you know, you're making my head explode because I'm going into winter. So what I love about when we do work together, think about this, Northern Hemisphere, Southern Hemisphere, we bring the yin and the yang, the top and the bottom, we bring together a whole picture. So when people listen to us and we speak from these two vantage points, you're going into summer, I'm going into winter, I really honestly feel like we can get to such a broad perspective when we have these conversations because of what we're bringing, right? So where we are, why did we go through what we went through? Preparation. One of the big things that I see people, and this is for years now, people have not been able to comprehend when I say to them, guys, we're ascending. And they go, yeah, but you know what? Maybe just a few people, right? Because the whole world is never going to be ready. Like, look at the state of humanity. And I say to them, yeah, but you're looking right now. You're not understanding quantum leaps. You're not understanding that time is not linear, that we can squish into 10 seconds, 10 lifetimes worth of information. We have the ability to do that. And that's what we've started doing. That's what the eclipse was doing. That's when I'm saying to you, quantum jump, it is that. It is speeding up our ascension so that we can step into our enlightened higher selves now, not in 10 years' time or 100 years' time or 100 lifetimes' time. We're doing it now. That's what this is. This is preparation. Michael, before I hand back over to you, though, I just want to say you said a magic word, and the word was allowing. You know, I earlier I gave you guys the word integration. That is very much where, like right now, this is integration time. And integration requires stillness. And the word that Michael used, allowing, is how you get into the stillness. It's a very, very big theme that I'm working with right now in my online community. We're working with that exact thing, allowing. We've been doing it for the whole of April. So every time my guys see me, they're like, yeah, Carrie, oh, yawn, you're getting boring, but you keep talking about the same thing because it's that important. Allowing equals surrendering. Surrender means you're getting your ego out of the way. It means you're getting the chatterbox brain out of the way. And that puts you in a space where you can allow the integration of what? The integration of your higher consciousness. So what you're going through is like a mini ascension. And every time we go through these big quantum jumps, it's exactly that. It's a practice round for ascension. It's how much can you get the ego out of the way? How much 5D can you let in? How much of your own, not somebody else's, your own higher consciousness can you absorb and integrate and allow in right now? If you guys are feeling stressed, if you guys are feeling like, oh, I've got so much going on, I'm in overwhelm, then you honestly need to do the most imperative, most important thing that you can, and that is stop. Truly stop. Take a breath. Integrate, allow, absorb everything that we've just been through so that you can step into the higher reality right now. Because if you stay in overwhelm and you stay in stress and you stay in all of that mental processing, then you're going to absolutely bypass your own higher timeline, which would be such a loss. So no matter what's going on, stop. And you know what? Sometimes what I describe as the stop, sometimes it's like a 10-minute stop. It's consciously choosing to stop so that you can let everything absorb, so that you can catch up to this incredible quantum leap that that we've just been through. And then, of course, Michael, you know what happens after integration, right? After integration, then we're in preparation for the next one. We're like bloody athletes, man.
Allen Iverson once said, "We're talking practice." That's a joke for some people that are watching. But you mentioned practice, and I think that there's a phrase that God only gives you what you could handle. And I could reflect on my life, and it's really important for people, if you're leveling up, to take out that accountability mirror and see how you've grown and changed. And some of the things that I used to make, oh, this is the worst thing in the world, is like nothing to me now, because I went through some of the trials and tribulations. I do feel, and you probably feel this way, we will continue to go through these things, but this just was a massive leveling up, because the micro and the macrocosm, humanity this year is going to be doing a massive level up. So we are the physical representations of humanity that had to go through these massive jumps. So there are waves. You talked about surrendering. One of the things that I've been sharing, and you're in a similar situation that I am, as a leader, as a creator, listening to the internal authority. And I know that you might go out there, and there's always the distractions. Actually, a video that I just strongly put out, to not fall for these distractions. And people, things, and situations, they literally come in simply to stop you. How can, because you're a beautiful leader, powerful leader, how do you listen? Because this is what we all need to do. How do you listen to your internal authority and block out all the narcissism out there?
So I have this saying that says, trust your light. And that is, it's not something you're going to do in a day. And it's not something that you can read and repeat the words and then think, okay, I'm doing this thing now. Trust your light. It sounds like such a simple phrase, and it is simple, but it's not easy. And I'm going to describe to you how to get there, but when you can trust your light, then what happens is you don't get distracted. Then when you trust your light, you know your light. You don't hope, oh, I hope I'm being guided. I trust, people say nervously, I trust that there's a higher path or a higher plan for my life. No, I'm talking about really intimately coming to know your light, to experience your light, to trust your light. That means to have an experience with your divinity. That's what your light is. Your light is the part of you that is still connected to God, that still exists now. And when you allow that, there's that word again, allow, right? When you allow, so now you don't have to make your light. You don't have to make this process happen. You have to allow the process of you connecting to your light. And it starts in a ridiculously uncomfortable way, because in order to connect with your light, you got to connect with what could be your darkness or your density or your fear, or if I put it very simply, your now moment. So if your now moment, this is so critical. If your now moment looks like overwhelm, or it looks like confusion, or it looks like depression, or it looks like anxiety, you don't get to bypass the now and skip ahead into some glorious light place. No, you start out by connecting with authenticity with whatever shows up in the moment. And if it's bliss, then it's bliss. And if it's devastation, then it's devastation. It's irrelevant what it is. It's relevant that you allow the connection to the now. Connection to the now opens up connection to authenticity and truth. And authentically and truly, you, Michael, me, Carrie, and everyone alive, we are all in real time connected to God consciousness, connected to divinity. And the only way we're going to trust that is to feel that. And the only way to feel that is to get into the now, where authenticity creates a pathway that leads us further and forward into the light that we are. And that's it, Michael. When you trust your light, distraction's going to happen, and you're going to see it, and you're going to laugh it off. And you're going to go, look at that. Look at that attempt. Maybe it's something you see on the news. Maybe it's your best friend whispering nonsense in your ear that's going to derail you. It doesn't matter where it comes from. You're not going to be angry, and you're not going to hold resentment against the person who's trying to distract you. You're just going to go, oh, look. Almost like you're going, oh, sweet. Oh, that's cute. That's an attempt to take me off the path of my light. But when you trust your light is like this boomerang that keeps you on track. And even if you deviate, it brings you right back again. Trust your light is to know your light, is to know yourself as divinity. And this is the real work of the spiritual warrior right now. It's easy, right? It's easy for people to trust somebody else. It's almost like, I want to say it's the coward's way, and that might sound very harsh, but it is. It's the coward's way to blindly, and even if it's me, I don't care, even if it's you, it's a coward's way to blindly trust a teacher and say, oh, they know that. Because Michael, I know you're the same as me. Our goal is not to get people to follow us. Our goal is to get people to follow themselves. And leading by example, how do you follow yourself? Critical step, trust your beautiful divine light. And then you become a force in this world, just like you are, Michael. It's like I look at you and I always see that about you. I always see that person who, no matter what you go through, boom, you bounce back, You are, and I could say you are like the boomerang, or you have a boomerang of light that keeps bringing you back. No matter how your road deviates, you come back to your higher path every single time.
The lighthouse, being the light and just being yourself. And the lighthouse just shines the light, doesn't go to the ships. The ships go to the light.
Yeah.
Speaking about authenticity and transparency, a couple things that you said last time we met and that are playing out. You talked about the changing of roles and who we are. Okay. And on my journey, I saw, and we talked about pressure earlier. Okay. In the past, and we all had subconscious programs. And I always want to be, because ultimately I am an empath like you, and I actually I just wanted to be a kid. But our roles kind of shifted. So, I had to learn, and within my Patreon community, this is something that we've discussed a lot. I know that I had to let go of being a people pleaser, and I needed to be maybe not so nice, just be more truthful. And our roles have changed. So, maybe for me, that like softness maybe had to become a little hard. And I've seen people that were a little hard and have become a little soft. So what you shared, and again, my Nana, sometimes our grandparents teach us the truth. She always said there's a time for this and a time for that. Right now, I am and you are, we're giving birth. Okay. So I can't have distractions, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. This is it, and I need to go. And we can't be people pleasers. So I, had to really, because we always kind of want to be nice, but it's more important. Anyone that's listening to this right now, and you probably went through this as well, through firsthand experience. It's more important to be authentic than it is to be nice. And sometimes that's also known as tough love. And sometimes people need a little tough love. And that is to like how God, kind of gives us a little shaking and to course direct us, change the course, fix us, put us in alignment. Sometimes we have to be that embodiment, that light, that course directs other people. One of the things that you shared in the last time we met, which I have seen, if you want to talk about that as well, you said there's going to be people that just say whatever they want. And I see this within the comment section. Maybe you see this as well. And I have shared this also within my community. I will say something, okay? And literally, they will just make things up and say the exact opposite of what I have said. Have you witnessed this behavior, and would you like to elaborate on that behavior?
Oh my gosh. It's like, I wonder now, I wonder what reality, when I see comments like that, I wonder what reality are you in that you are quoting something that Gary said, that Gary never even said, that I never alluded to. It's like the way that people, you can misunderstand, but it's like people are having such chronic misunderstandings, misperceptions, that it's like they're listening to me from a whole other reality that I'm not even in, and they're making up a version of me that I am not, and then quoting that version of me. And as I say that, I say, well, it's kind of like we're not even in the same world, because the misunderstanding and the misrepresentation is so big. But that's exactly what it is. That is exactly, we are not in the same world. And so what we have are a whole lot of bystanders. Here's how I'm going to describe it to you. We're in one reality right now. And within the one reality that we're in, we have two streams. One is headed to 5D, which we know is the ascension timeline. One is headed to 4D. These are the guys that are not ascending, and that's cool. That doesn't make them bad. It's just their choice. Their choice is, at the ascension point, we're going to leave this planet, go into a new life on a new planet, in a new body, in a new realm. That's beautiful. That's a great choice for them. But these are the two streams of reality. And these two streams are getting more and more separate, to the point that these two reality streams have got now something that I'm going to describe as a membrane around them. That membrane is eventually going to become thicker and thicker, to the point that we can't even see each other anymore. Right now, it's just an energetic membrane. We can still hear each other. We can still see each other. We can still sit in the same room, but be in two different worlds. That's what's going on. And when you've got somebody in a different world, but in the same room as you, they can't hear you. They will misquote you. They will misunderstand you. They will misinterpret your intention and everything about you, because they are quite literally in another world, even though they could be right next to you.
So I'm just bringing this up now because and I'm fascinated about things, and I tell people I don't pretend like I know everything, and I'm curious and I ask questions. So do you feel that, like, I see it playing out? You could see the frequency is shifting, and I'm just totally curious about this too, because I want to know, like, do you feel like there will reach an energetic point where there is a physical, actual, like they can't see, like there's a different like plane or a shift, or and how do
Yeah.
you see that playing out? Because I'm interested in this stuff as
Yeah.
well.
Look, what we call ascension is that final splitting apart point. So that's where the timelines split into two physical, literal, different worlds. One will be the reality that we know, which is planet Earth. The other will be a totally different planet, not even a variation of Earth. It will be a totally different planet, and I call that the 4D world. So it's going to look a lot like Earth, but instead of it being in the false matrix, instead of it being in 3D, it's basically just a higher version of Earth. And the people who incarnate there, they're going to incarnate into a whole new name, a whole new identity, a whole new life, just like we all did when we came here. We had no memory of where we've been before in the previous lifetime. It's going to be exactly the same for them. So the two worlds are that. One being planet Earth in 5D, one being the other 4D Earth, or 4D world, I should rather say. It's not Earth, 4D world. Right now, we're just two streams. But over time, those two streams are going to become more and more separate, because energetically, they're going to become more and more aligned to each other. The collectives are going to start creating exactly what represents these two streams, and you're going to align to it. You're going to align to 5D. That's like the boomerang that I spoke about earlier. It's going to keep pulling you into that higher timeline. Eventually, like I said, the membrane becomes thicker and thicker, and just before ascension, we're eventually going to be at that point where we know that those guys are still on the planet with us, because we can still hear them, we will still see them, but we will not understand them. So what we're saying, and that's why I've always said we're going to reach a point where our division with people is going to be so overt. And as spiritual people, we don't like division. As spiritual people, we don't want to feel division. We want to feel unity. Our journey is going to be, yes, feel unity within, feel acceptance of the choice of others. That's all that it is. Because other people may not be making a choice to move into 5D. Most people are, and most people will, and it's not the right choice. It's just a choice. But as we move forward in time, Michael, because those streams are getting more and more polarized into their specific frequencies, it's going to make it really hard to keep up understanding with each other, to find common ground with each other. It doesn't have to be a case of, I hate you because you're different. It needs to become, I respect you and we're different. That's what it's going to become. Yeah.
As per the physical thing, like seeing that shift, so I always refer to this interview. So it might be going 9 years ago, a long time ago. I watched a Native American man. He was talking about higher dimensional beings, or whatever you want to use the term, that were in a canyon in Arizona, and he said they're here, but you won't see them. They vibrate on a different frequency. When I was
Yeah.
younger and I was still going through and like learning this stuff, I was very interested, but like now I kind of understand that. And like, is that like the type of shift that we will?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it starts out with two people in the same room. I can see you, I can hear you, but we're just not on the same page. And it's going to land up with, I can't see you and I can't hear you, and we're not even on the same page.
Mm,
Yeah.
it's interesting. But there is a big purge and change. So as we're leveling up, I have been sharing, we're leaving chaos and going to
Mm.
clarity. And if you want to
Mhm.
build, lead, and create, we need clarity. And one of the energies, people do discuss things that are coming up, and I think we're seeing it more than ever. It's been part of society, but the dark feminine, the Jezebel spirit. And I've shared about this, and we think of the embodiment, or the spirit of confusion and chaos. And some people, they might slither into the comment section, and anyone could hold it. Like beta males can hold it as well. Doesn't mean that it has to be a quote unquote female, but that dark feminine spirit. And you're a very powerful woman, maybe a soul sister of the violet flame. And I had someone else on, Lisa LeBlanc, talking about the female covert narcissist, and trying to bring this all together. But as part of society, this chaos, this confusion, keeping people in a state of confusion spirit, I feel like it is coming up. It's something that we have discussed. What is your take on the dark feminine, because light is shining so bright so we could see it, that has been taking place in society, and how it's kind of rising to the surface so we could all see it right now?
Yeah. The divine feminine. Let's talk about that. The divine feminine is exactly that. It is divine. It is beautiful. It is soft. It is flowing. It is powerful. It is so graceful. And the divine masculine is beautiful and it's powerful. And we know this, that there's the opposite of divinity. So if we use this word toxicity, right, we could understand, okay, so we've got a divine masculine and we've got a toxic masculine. We've got a divine feminine. There must also be a toxic feminine, for goodness sake. How is it possible that there's no such thing as toxic femininity? If there is such a thing as divine femininity, then because we live in this world of duality, it must exist. It's like this. If you experience great sadness, I guarantee you there is great joy available to you, because that's the nature of duality. There is always an opposite. And as we come into the expression of divine feminine, which is where we're headed, there must be a cleansing of that toxic femininity. And when something cleanses, what does it do? It rises. It shows itself. And the toxic feminine is very much about blame. It's very much about, it's not me. I can't be wrong. It can only possibly be you. It can only obviously possibly. And just like the great gaslighter, what's a great gaslighter going to do? They're going to accuse you of exactly their own freaking behavior. That's just what they do. Most of the time, though, they can't see that. So the conversation about our deepest, darkest natures is very difficult when someone's embedded into the depth of that darkness because they can't see it. So what are they going to do? They're going to blame. They're going to say, oh my God, Michael and Kerry are talking about bad, negative things. They're bad, negative people. Yeah. And that's just part of the risk of speaking truth. Yeah. Speaking truth is going to cast a light on shadows. But I have to say this, I've encountered tremendous toxicity from both men and women. But what really upsets me as a woman is that there's denial about the fact that there is even a toxic femininity. And almost like there's this consensus about a toxic masculinity, but there is this negating from women that says, no, they can't possibly be. Women are, and this is where women go, they go, no, we've been abused. We've been disempowered. Now, here's something interesting. Now, we all have different backgrounds and different perspectives, right? I remember growing up hearing these words, woman's lib, woman's empowerment. And quite frankly, it never made sense to me. And I'll tell you why it never made sense to me. Because I thought, why would I want to empower women who are already powerful? You see, in my mind, I never saw women as disempowered. I didn't. I don't know why, Michael. I don't know. The world did. I didn't. I never saw women as the underdog. I only ever saw women as divine and powerful. And not dominant, but matriarchal in the sense that women, to me, were the empowered leaders of the world. And that was just so obvious. So when you see something from that lens, and then you're hearing about empower women, that's just crazy. That's like, but they're already powerful. So I just never understood that. But a lot of women hold on to the idea that they've been wronged, they've been abused, they've been done in, and now it's up to them to give retribution. It's up to them to give payback. They're not God. God is the one who decides on consequence. God is the one who decides on punishment, or what I would call consequence. When people go into victimhood, they go so deviant from their higher nature, so deviant from their higher path, because victimhood always wants to punish. Now, here's what we do. If we become, as an individual, if we become a victim, and we say, oh, either look how men have hurt me, or even look how women have hurt me. If we become the victim, one of two things are going to happen. Either we're going to want to punish the other, because now we see ourselves as less, and we think the only way that we're going to become more is to take down that which we perceive now as bigger. So it's like, I'm going to chop you off at the knee so that I can stand on you, and then I'll rise higher, which is just insanity. The other thing that people do when they step into victimhood is punish themselves. It's one of those two things. They either want to punish the other, or they want to punish themselves, as if to say, okay, you started punishing me, you started abusing me, now I'm going to finish the job. So I'm asking everybody listening, if you are prone to stepping into victimhood, look at who you're punishing, because chances are fabulous that you're not even conscious of it. Chances are fabulous that the person you're punishing is yourself. Sometimes it could be another. It's not about blame. If we could drop one thing that would heal humanity instantaneously and overnight, it would be that. Drop the blame. Drop the shaming of self and others. Drop the blaming of self and others. Responsibility and the taking of responsibility has got nothing to do with blame at all, ever. That was a trick of darkness to prevent people from taking responsibility. Responsibility is accountability. It's power. It's when you say, hey, I'm accountable and I'm powerful. But blame and shame never has a remedy. Blame and shame always needs punishment. So that's a very long answer, but where I see it, and I'd love to hear, from your perspective as a man, where you see it, but the way that I see it right now is there is a cleansing, there is a purging, but those who are blind to their own behavior, they can't see that they are participants in the very thing that they're screaming at others about perpetrating against them. Women don't see their power. But if they did, they would never want to be empowered because they would know that they're powerful. And they also wouldn't want to take down the other sex, take down another person even. We're talking from the vantage point of men and women, but apply this to everything. Apply this to two lovers having an argument. It's not about retribution and blame. It's about personal responsibility, personal accountability, personal power. And then you shift into making your world about you and not about the other person and their wrongdoing or their right doing. We have the potential to really shift into a healed, whole world within now, but it requires some very deep introspection. So that's my little overview. I really would love to hear from you, Michael, about your journey with seeing, because a lot of people can't see this. A lot of people are quite blind to it. Tell me about your journey seeing that dark, what I call the toxic feminine.
So when you mentioned the subconscious program of victim,
Mm.
and that's why, so I've shared a lot, we can't blame people because it's a subconscious program.
Mm.
But authentically over time, unconditional love is not unconditional acceptance of poor behavior. So there is a lot of self-sabotage. I mean, and you know me well. I've gone about. That's why I share. Like as a leader, as a strong man, you can't go into this chaos, and that's why a lot of people that are doing this work find themselves alone. And not to say that
Mm.
I did a video on this. It's gaining a lot of steam because it's loaded with authenticity. If you are going to be committed, and that's why God puts us in these situations, you will show and be committed and actually go into isolation instead of, you
Mm.
can't like go through this constant be put down, chase it around, indecisiveness, state of
Mm.
confusion, so we can't move forward. Nikola Tesla actually, and I don't remember the exact quote, but Nikola Tesla saw this coming, and he saw a day where male and female would actually like try to bicker with each other instead of working together. If someone knows that quote, please put it in the comment section. But Nikola Tesla, I always refer to him, and sometimes we could see these things coming, and that's why it's so it's so backwards. Like we're supposed to be doing it to rising up together, and that's why there's tremendous power when you're able to just okay and sit back. And that's the Sigma archetype. So there are archetypes, and that's why we can embrace it. But one of the things that I have been, as we're going through this, and I'm on the quest to know the truth and authenticity, and really through my conversation also with Lise, and she really, dives into this as well. The difference between, say, male and female, or when it comes to narcissism, and we go back to archetypes. If you think of narcissism or toxicity, as you put it, when it does come to a male, it will be right there. It's like kind of easy. And I
Mm.
also refer to the law of 80-20. When it comes to females and the female covert narcissist,
Mm.
toxic female, it is covert. it is undercover, so it's not being seen. But now is a time where it is being seen. So when it comes to females, for the most part, and again, it's always the most part. I always say, go to the law of 80/20. The laws of the universe don't lie. We don't paint anyone with a broad stroke, but certain energy themes or archetypes, they follow certain things. So the event is the expansion of human consciousness. We have to become conscious and aware of what's going on. So overall, it is more of an undercover, different way. And that's why you said, oh, it's not me, it's you. It's a different thing where, like the grandiose, or like, oh, it's like more like it's kind of like, yeah, I could see that. But when it's more, it's a different way of going about it. It's more hidden. And so what's the time period, Kerry, that we're in? All of the hidden things are coming to light. I've heard so many stories from my brothers over the years. And, when you hear certain things and you're realizing that something is wrong, you really want to raise awareness of it. And I tell you, like sometimes, so I talk to guys in the gym, like, regular stuff. And and so there's a problem with this. And there's, you can't say that, the woman will get all like, it's like known. So, and anyone that's in the comments, you might see this as well. I see there's a totally, even when it comes to male on male and female on female, males, guys are just like almost like hanging out. And I have so many female friends that say the dark feminine are so quick to stab each other in the back. I've done a video on this as well to really raise awareness that it's actually, and the women, the authentic women, could write in the comment section, you are literally seeing, maybe you see this as well, women that will actually stab you in the back. And it's like, it's a different energy vibe, and it constantly comes up. And all we have to do is raise awareness and shine a light on it. And, sometimes, people get a little stirred up when the light is very bright. But is that your take? And being a woman yourself, do you see the dark feminine actually coming after you?
I do. And, when you were talking, Michael, I actually wrote it down here on my piece of paper because it's just like something just clicked in my head. And I went, oh, yeah. If you experience men in their darkness, their shadow, what we would call the toxic masculinity, what the toxic masculine says is, I am right. Listen to me, because I am right. But what the toxic feminine says is, you are wrong. You are wrong, right? So we've got God, can you imagine these two people, right? Because we're painting two archetypes now. Can you imagine these two archetypes of the toxic masculine and the toxic feminine having an argument? The man is going, I'm right, and she's going, you're wrong, you're wrong. And that is covert. That is the feminine. The feminine is the moon. It's hidden. And so she's not going to come out to your chest and stab you in the heart. She's going to come to your back and she's going to stab you in the back because she thinks you won't see and I'll be safe that way. Whereas the man he wants you to know, I'm the one ending you. So it's kind of like that masculine bravado needs to be very much in your face, whereas the feminine needs to be hidden. In my world, I've always found it easier to have friendships with men than I have with women for that exact reason, because women have stabbed me in the back and I love women and I have terrific female friends, but I'm very comfortable with men because men can be honest. Men can say to me, Kerry, you look like shit or you're speaking shit, but a woman is going to say, really, Kerry? And then she's going to go behind my back. She's not going to tell me. She's going to go behind my back and she's going to say, do you know what Kerry said? Ba, 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 ba. So it's that hidden element again. Now, here's where I really want to go with this. This is not about which one's worse, who's better, who's right, and who's wrong. This is about we all have these unhealed aspects within us. We all have a divine masculine and a divine feminine that are seeking unification. The ultimate divine union is within. When we unify the yin and the yang, the male and the female elements that we all have, when we step into wholeness, ding, 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 we've just won the game. That's it. That's what we came here for. The moment we need to prove rightness and wrongness, we are at war. And the opposite is true. This is only to shine a light, dear God, not on somebody else, just on you, the individual. Forget who's wrong. It doesn't matter. Forget who's right. It doesn't matter. Just see you and see you with compassion. See you as divine innocence. That's the word that can change your life. If you can see yourself in all of your behavior, the wrong behavior, the right behavior, just see yourself and recognize somewhere in there, there's innocence. Somewhere in there, even if it's buried and hard to see, there is an innocent self that either believed something a certain way or saw something a certain way or perceived something a certain way. That innocence starts to create the wholeness again. That the divine feminine can emerge out of the place where the toxic feminine once was. What is the toxic feminine? She's just scared. That's all she is. She's just scared. And she has no freaking idea how powerful she is. And women are crazy powerful. And somebody who's really powerful that doesn't know how to wield their power, they're dangerous. And that's why the toxic femininity can be so dangerous, purely because she doesn't know. And she's acting out of fear. Equally, the divine masculine, it can be, so loving, so nurturing. My husband has got the most exquisite divine masculine energy I've ever seen. And I've got amazing men around me. Brian, that's my husband. He's got it. He's got that exquisite divinity of masculinity. And women often ask me, because they're like, what is it like when you're with a man who has this divine masculinity? He must be really powerful. And of course he is, but it's not what we expect. It's not dominance. It's a very beautiful, nurturing power that I've seen divine masculine hold. And it's when each individual finds the divine masculine and the divine feminine balance within themselves, then you become the lighthouse, Michael, that you spoke about earlier. You become the radiant ripple that starts seeping into the collective consciousness. And as that radiant ripple, you start bringing healing to people and places that you don't even know. You don't even know the power that you have when you become the wholeness and the divinity that you came here to be. And then eventually, Michael, it's not going to be about the divine masculine and the divine feminine. It's going to be about the divine human, the divine wholeness that we become from all of this.
It's like I just love you. It's so wonderful to see and experience someone that just, it's like it just flows. And to go to like as advice to like how a person could either check themselves, or like, because a lot of empaths are like, is this me? Is this me? There's so much power in the ability to just sitting alone. I had a mentor years ago. He told me, sit with it. That's how you tell. You don't have to, if you're able to just sit and process. We all have to take out the accountability mirror. And I'm sure when you talk about it, well, you don't, but there's a difference between authentic strength. So, which I have shared on my channel, there is a difference between empowered and a narcissist. Period.
Oh, yeah.
That it is different. So the weakness of a narcissist, like I have shared this many times. Okay, here right before me is a successful person on YouTube. You will never see. Ready? Hit the like button. You will never see Kerry K go to someone's comment section and troll. There, it is very easy to see the narcissist in this new energy. There will never be Kerry K slithering into your comment section because Kerry K is too busy leading, teaching, and building. Period. So I say this a lot. So I just want to use you as an example. You see who the narcissist is. You see who the dark feminine or masculine, is.
Mm.
If you are strong, you are too busy building, teaching, and leading. So hit the like button if that resonates. And
Oh,
this
yeah.
was great as always. We
Oh,
have to have powerful people. We need to have authenticity, and we have to go into this next time period. I know summer and winter is different for both of us, but we have to come in empowered. We have to be
yeah.
strong. I appreciate you. Is there anything you would like to leave the audience with before we end this?
Wholeness. Wholeness is where it's at, just based on the conversation that we've just had. If I could ask everyone just to take 10 seconds to experience themselves, not their thoughts, not their memories, but themselves as whole. Because in this moment, you are whole. You've always been whole. And after this chaos and this polarity and this duality, guess what you're going to be? You're going to be whole. So it's kind of an inevitability. So don't get caught up in the division. Get caught up, if anywhere, in the wholeness. And it's just your nature. Each one of you, it is who you are. Don't deviate from your nature and get into blame and shame. And the moment I see people that need to stand on a mountaintop with a loudspeaker yelling out how wrong somebody is, I think to myself, my God, what are you doing to yourself? Because it doesn't harm the person that you're yelling at. It doesn't. It harms the person who's yelling. It harms them energetically. It takes away from their life force and from their beauty, and they start sharing their toxicity instead of their potential, which is to share love. When you step into wholeness, you start sharing love. You start being love because that's what you came here to be. And can you imagine a world where men protect women? Because that's what men are beautiful at doing. They protect physically, and women are beautiful at protecting emotionally. When you have a strong, powerful woman in your life, she will protect you emotionally and she will wrap you in a blanket of love. Imagine having friendships like that. Imagine having relationships with each other where we know this guy, he's got my back. That girl, she's got my back. And we're the start of it all. We are the start of a new way of relating to each other by starting to relate to ourselves in our wholeness. Thanks for having me, Michael.
It's always a pleasure. It's my honor to have you on. I'm very grateful to do this work with someone like you. So if anyone is getting this and you're new to Kerry K, why don't you please subscribe to Kerry K's channel. That link will be in the description. And if I'm new to you, I have a channel, Our Everyday Lives, and we have daily videos, 9 a.m. Eastern time, and we focus on getting better every day. Just focus on becoming 1% better every single day. By the end of this year, you'll be on a totally different timeline in the brand new earth. But let's focus on ourselves. Let's be the change that we want to see in the world. So I'm grateful for you, grateful for everyone that watched this. Hit the like button, leave a comment, share the video. Sharing is caring. Sharing really gets it going, and this momentum is continuing right now. So I'm grateful for everyone that is watching, and I'm very grateful for you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll do this again very soon. All right, take
Lovely.
care.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.